Bangladesh is lauded for coming back with a very prompt response since the July cafe attack. Globally, ISIS seems to be losing its ground from its origin, but they are also moving into Europe and West. Some security analysts also point out that they are making their foray into South Asia as well. Bangladesh has seen radicalization at its grassroots. Does the government have any plan to deal with this, and if so, how?
Well, you have seen and the world has seen. What a spectacular manner we have managed to tackle the radicals. It was not simply tackled by force and by police action, RAB action. It was forced, we were successful because the Prime Minister mobilized the whole country. Teachers, students, parents, village officials, district officials, all of them were mobilized. Everybody became a part. We made it into we made this whole thing very democratic. Popular participation in eradicating terrorism. So today, no young man or a woman can drop out from school or college or disappear from their village without being noticed, because whole country is aware. Parents have become much more aware of what their children are doing. So, we have made a societal effort to fight terrorism. Yes, they say when ISIS is thrown out of Iraq or Syria, they will go to the other countries. We are on the lookout. When any of them arrive, they cannot just come here and mix with the population, because everybody is on the watch out. The whole population, the horrors of that cafe attack was such that it united the people against terrorists and killers. And our Prime Minister then mobilized the people, and it is people's mobilization which is making sure that terrorism will not find a home in this country.
But there are also Bangladeshis fighting in Iraq and Syria in the ranks of the Islamic State. How does one explain this?
Well, you could ask the same question of Britain, Germany, United States. Many countries, people of many countries have gone and joined. But please note, not that Bangladeshis have gone there in large number, but those of Bangladeshi origin who have actually gone, they are, in many cases, British-born or American-born or European-born, second-generation people. How many people have actually gone directly from Bangladesh? Not more than a handful. And even those who have gone from Bangladesh have gone via Malaysia and via Australia and via a third country. So you can see, yes, some young men, possibly a woman, I don't know, did go directly from Bangladesh, but most of them were not from Bangladesh. And there is, it is a problem where the youth have felt disillusion and have been induced into believing that the other side has all the solutions to the problem. And don't forget, many of them who were disillusioned, who went there, pretty quickly realized that they had become victims of propaganda and have hastily returned home. So I remain very confident. Bangladesh is by tradition, by history, a tolerant, liberal Muslim society. We have a syncretic tradition of Islam which borrows and imbibes its strength from other religions. We celebrate each other's festivals. We live and we coexist without knowing any religious differences. So in a country like Bangladesh, it was truly difficult for such radicalization to happen. And when we did notice some radicalization had happened, we were all shocked. Shocked not because of the size of radicalization, which was small, but the fact that it could happen in Bangladesh was outside our imagination.
As you mentioned about religion, a leading politician of your party has said that Islam would be removed as a state religion from the constitution when the time comes. Contrarily, we learned that subjects in the country's primary school curriculum have adopted contents that give a highly Islamic viewpoint, ignoring students from other religious backgrounds. How do you explain that?
Let me first remind you that Bangladesh is a secular society. It is not an Islamic state. It is not an Islamic republic like Pakistan. It is a secular state. Our constitution has made us secular, plural, and multicultural. We have a huge diversity in our population. And to say that it is an Islamic state or will not remain an Islamic state, I think is playing with word. Our constitution, which under the military had been amended to say that Islam is the state religion of Bangladesh. Nobody knows what that means. If you know what it means, I'll be glad to hear. But if you look at the next sentence in the constitution, it says other religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, have equal status. What does that mean? Is any religion being privileged? Now, yes, we are all worried about what we saw recently in the press, that certain parts of the curriculum in the books have been changed. Now, you will have also read in the newspaper, people who were responsible for it, for the editorial content, have never agreed to these changes. That is why the government has instituted an inquiry, and we will find out where that came from, how did it happen, and we will take the necessary actions.
Well, we've seen more things unprecedented around us. It has been past 1 month since the US administration has changed with President Donald Trump at the helm. He has made some major changes in the immigration policy, and a trade preference for Bangladesh has been in the hanging. What does that make for Bangladesh's foreign policy as regards the US is concerned?
Let me say emphatically, Bangladesh-US relationship in the last 7-8 years has been deeper, broader, and more extensive than ever before. Like any two bilateral relationship, occasionally issues come up. These are resolved through discussions. We have no problems at all. Along with it, I confidently say that the election of President Trump or the return of Republican government would not in any significant way affect Bangladesh-US relations. Now you mentioned about preferred access to American market. Let me remind you, United States never gave Bangladesh preferred access to the American market. There is a thing called Generalized System of Preference, GSP, which accounts for 0.8% of our export to the United States, less than 1%. This was not imposed by the current regime, but by the previous regime. It was not because of any difficulties in our bilateral relationship, because they had certain concerns about our implementation of our commitment to the ILO and our own constitution, which guarantees certain rights to the labor. So we hope GSP, which affects 0.8% of our trade, is restored. But even if it isn't restored, it is no big deal.
Thank you, Dr. Rizvi, for your time. I believe it was a very significant interview.
Thank you. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope we'll keep the discussions going.